Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a new lineup of watches from the PRX collection with the new 35mm variants in a variety of different colors. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on these watches, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout this video, if you have further questions, check out the link in the description where you can learn more as well as purchase the watches as well. But guys, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this new collection. Ever since its release last year, the Tissot PRX has rapidly ascended to become one of the most important collections under the $1,000 price range, I would say in the last 5 to 10 years perhaps. And given the success of the model family, there are many people asking, what else is going to come in the year following for the PRX family? But one of the more common just questions was, are we going to get a smaller case variant? And with some conversation online and some potential leaks that we saw earlier this year, a lot of speculation was happening about what did the future sizing optionality hold for the Tissot PRX family. But today we're going to be looking at the answer to those questions and to put an end to all the speculation, looking at the new 35mm variants available in a wide variety of dial colors and coming in at compact case size at 35mm. Let's take a closer look. So just to briefly summarize what's new here, the biggest single talking point is of course going to be the new case size, which takes the overall look and feel from the larger 40mm variant and effectively downsizes it while maintaining the proportions and finishing enthusiasts have come to appreciate from the PRX as a whole. In addition to the smaller size, the collection also offers some novelty in the terms of dial colors, including a bright green variant similar to the new 40mm quartz in green, a new lighter shade of blue, silver with gold indices, and then more of the same when it comes to dial colors that we've seen in the past. All that come in with a price at $375, and also a gold PVD coated case variant and bracelet option coming with a price at $450. So the new 35mm PRX offers a distinctly different look, feel, and overall wearing experience to go along with the shedding of 5mm from its case diameter. As discussed in my interview with Tissot CEO Sylvain Dalla, this case diameter was specifically taken from the original 1979 C-Star reference that provided the impetus for the modern PRX collection as a whole, with that 40mm variant being the first to test the market and before moving into this one-to-one creation of that 1979 watch with its sizing and wearability. With thickness of 9.8mm and a compact lug-to-lug of just 39mm, this watch is much smaller than the previous iteration at 40mm. I would say it wears closer to that of a 36mm case, so slightly larger than the 35mm, but certainly a large departure from the original variant. With this dramatic change in size, I would say this is going to be a choice that's going to come down to personal preference, but if I had to say the type of individual and wrist size that would work best with this, I would say if you do like smaller cases, probably 6.75 inches or 17.2 centimeters or below for someone that's going to look in the direction of this watch. Although I have slight leanings to the 40mm variant, if I had to pick one or the other, I still think this 35mm option answers the call for so many people out there and is a nice kind of middle of the road sizing if you want that kind of mid 20th century type of size format that wears like a true 36 on the wrist. This 35mm PRX follows its larger siblings with a central case finish with uniform vertical brush surfaces that extend throughout the bracelet. All the sides of the primary surfaces are polished, including the bezel that is lifted from the core case and a long bevel cast along the entire length of the case that shines impressively underneath the light. The crown is seated within the case slightly, offering a nice compromise between accessibility and protection while being signed with the Tissot T, pairing with the simply adorned case back and securing this model's 100 meters of water resistance. The bracelet seamlessly transitions into the case and again demonstrates how Tissot really did not cut any corners in making this one happen. The same brushing on the central case is also here, but to add some flair, the inside of the links are all polished, making the turn of the wrist a show-stopping experience for a watch of this price category. Meeting the case at around 23.5mm, the well-finished bracelet tapers to 16mm, culminating with a 2-button butterfly release, features pin adjusted links and a quick release mechanism where the bracelet meets the watch. The links are rather small to traditional sports watches, so getting a solid fit shouldn't be a problem despite the lack of micro adjustment in the bracelet. But if you are finicky about precise fit, it might involve having some back and forth to get that perfect fit. In any of the new dial variations, these watches exhibit a proportionally downsized take on what is essentially the same exact execution from previous quartz PRX iterations, including the faceted applied indices, a faceted window at 3 for the date, and the printing of the Tissot in 1853 at 12, with the writing of PRX in a retro-style text at 6. The Industries and baton-style hands do contain a small amount of superluminova, which glows with underwhelming incandescence but does do the job. And given this model family's proven track record at this price point, it's nice to see Tissot leaning into a design format that they know works and simply adapting to it in just a smaller format. Where these 35mm PRX dials do distinguish themselves is the more eye-catching shades offered by some of these new releases, with the light blue and vibrant green both garnering attention and changing lighting conditions with the help of their sunray finish. These two colors, along with the silver and gold, and of course that full gold variant, are a bit more out there and fun in comparison to some of the other PRX models so far, offering a pleasing option for women or anybody that's looking to tackle that 1970s design aesthetic this model family was built upon. Turning the watch over, we have a simple screw-down caseback engraved only with the most basic information while keeping watch over the quartz caliber, the ETA F06115 within. Like their larger siblings, the 35mm Tissot PRX continues to depend upon that ETA F06115, and while it's nothing sexy, this is a trusted quartz caliber from one of the most prominent makers of movements in Switzerland, offering 3 jewels, a battery life of at least 5 years, as well as an end-of-life indicator that causes the seconds hand to jump in 4-second increments when the battery is ready to be replaced. And while some likely will recoil at the mention of quartz calibers, quartz is going to be a more durable and accurate offering compared to the mechanical calibers, while also offering a nice set it and forget it type of functionality. This quartz offering is going to allow these to be thinner than the Powermatic 80 variants, and you get some nice accuracy in the process, usually between plus or minus 15 to 20 seconds a month here. Here you get the general functions that come with these movements, so hacking, stopping that second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, as you'd expect. You also get a quick set date and a battery life again of at least 5 years. And also one final point I will mention, given the price range in which these ones are occupying under, as well as the quartz caliber on the inside, there is the potential risk of the second hand not lining up with every marker on the dial, so just keep that in mind and have the right expectations. All right, so now to unpack looking at the new 35mm quartz options here. There were a lot of just interest in the idea of a smaller PRX. Immediately after the original 40mm options were unveiled, people were talking about where would the new variation just come in with size. I do think that 35mm was lower than most people were speculating it was going to be. But once I heard the story behind what was the original size of that vintage PRX, or that C-Star model from the late 1970s from Tissot CEO, I thought it made sense why they decided to go with this size. Also thinking about how that integrated case and bracelet are going to work in tandem to make it wear slightly larger. So you're getting like a 36mm option, similar to that of say like an Oyster quartz or some vintage Datejust models that you'll find on the market. And if those are going to be some of the best selling watches of all time, I think that speaks well to probably the size that was picked here. That said, there are going to be some that are going to think that this is too small. It is a small watch at the end of the day. 35mm is not a large case size by modern standards. But once you look past that, and then maybe some potential quartz snobbery that could take place if you're not a fan of quartz, of course these are not going to be for you. But otherwise, you get several different dial variations and new colors to choose from. Finishing, of course, is still there. A wearing experience that is going to be smaller, and a lot of vintage charm in the process. I think this is a very welcome new addition to the Tissot PRX family for those that have been longing for a smaller case option. If that best describes you, these are going to be right up your alley. All right, everybody, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel. But also, if you're in the market for any of the watches featured in this video, definitely check it out on TeddyBaldassarre.com and in the links in the description. We're a full authorized dealer for all the new products that we sell on our site. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I'll see you all very soon.